Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josie Violet and this is Josie Violet Knits. Today we have a very exciting video. I'm going to be sharing with you every single thing I have ever knit because 2025 was my first year as a knitter. I started at the beginning of January. My Christmas tree from last year was still up and I just have become so obsessed with this hobby in the past year. So I thought it was only fitting that I would film this video in front of this year's Christmas tree. I have a big pile of knits next to me, so let's get into it. I'm going to go in chronological order and I'm currently wearing the very last garment that I have finished, but I'll get to that at the end. But for now, let's get into everything I have ever knit. This is the very first thing I ever knit in January 2025. This is the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. I knit this in Drops Nepal, which was the recommended yarn for the pattern. And I am so pleased with myself that I managed to do this as my first pattern. I think the fact that this has a full step-by-step tutorial is so great, and honestly I will never thank Florence enough for her getting me into knitting, making it seem achievable and doable, and just having that step-by-step tutorial just honestly was the only reason I managed to get through this. I definitely wear this quite a bit. It's quite cozy, like the yarn is definitely very soft and comfy, and I feel like this is my kind of lounging around the house jumper. If I knit this again, I would definitely do the German short rows. Because it was my first time knitting, I decided to leave them out. I kind of wish that I'd just gone for it and done them now, because I definitely feel the lack of short rows around the neck. Like, it definitely does slightly choke me, and sometimes I get that sort of bunching around here, which is kind of annoying, and I know that if I'd done the German short rows that wouldn't happen, but it's quite a minor detail, and to be honest it doesn't bother me that much. The yarn blocked out really nice and drapey, so you can kind of get away with it. The other thing is this yarn is quite pilly. Almost as soon as I finished it, it started pilling, which was kind of annoying because it made it look like an old jumper when I'd only just finished it. And yeah, it does still continue to pill quite a bit. It did slow down a bit from the initial pilling. It definitely needs a shave now and again, but the reason it's doing that is because it is so soft, so it's kind of a compromise. I love this one, and because I knit it in quite a basic colour, I wear it all the time because it just kind of goes with everything. The second thing I ever knit was the Weekend Slipover V-neck by Petite knit. This was knit in Rauma Garn Fivel and knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair held together. This is my first time holding something together, obviously, because it was only my second project. And I found that quite fun, and I kind of opened me up to realising that you could sort of mix yarns together, so that was quite a fun realisation. And then it was things like doing the centre double decrease, and there was quite a lot of short rows in this as well, so that definitely taught me a lot. And I don't really wear this one too much, to be completely honest. I find it tricky to know exactly what weather to wear it in, because it is quite warm, so I feel like it kind of only works in spring and autumn, which is fine, but at the moment it's winter, and usually I'm a bit too cold to just wear this. Even with like a long sleeve top, I'd probably be a bit too cold in the winter to wear this, so hopefully I'll get this back out again in the spring. I do love it. I love the colour, and I have a green long sleeve t-shirt that I love to wear this with. It goes really nicely, and it kind of just goes with like white t-shirts and stuff as well. I was still really pleased with this one. There are definitely a few, I think on the shoulders, I did the short rows a bit wrong because I was still kind of learning how German short rows worked at that point. So there's a few tiny mistakes which maybe slightly puts me off wearing it as much as I would like. But overall I still love it, and it has not pilled hardly at all. I think holding the mohair has helped it not pill, and the Rauma Garn Fivel is quite a rustic yarn anyway, so I definitely need to figure out more ways to wear this one because it is cool. I think I'll probably get this one out again in the spring. The next thing I knit was the Lace Pullover by Ozetta. This was knit in Gilliatt by Rerum Natura in the shade Granit, and this is probably my most worn jumper. I wear it every week, probably multiple times a week. It just goes with everything. This yarn is somehow soft but rustic, which means it doesn't pill, but it's also not itchy, which is kind of a dream combination and is kind of hard to find. I feel like you either get a soft yarn or a non-pilling yarn, but this somehow is both. And I really want to knit something else with Gilliatt because I just know that I will love wearing it. And I do think it is my favourite yarn that I've knit with this year. And yeah, I love the construction, love the saddle shoulder. It makes it feel a little bit smarter than just your regular raglan. I think this isn't necessarily the most exciting thing I knit this year, but it's definitely my most worn, and it's my most practical knit that is like, okay, like this is actually a big part of my wardrobe. And yeah, I just couldn't really be without it. I don't know what I'd do without this jumper. The only thing I would slightly change if I did this again is I would knit it slightly longer. I think I was just getting really bored of knitting the body and I just wanted it to be finished, so it is quite cropped. If I could do it again, and it's annoying because I had enough yarn left to actually knit it a bit longer, but I'm not going to be unraveling it and I'm just going to put up with it. Like, it is still useful to have a cropped sweater, but yeah, that is just the one thing. If it was just like a few inches longer, it would be perfect. But honestly, I wear this so much, so clearly I'm fine with it as it is. The next thing I knit was this. This is my first ever colourwork project. This is the Haze sweater by the Knit Purl girl, and I knit this in Hobby Happy wool, and I have to say this is the worst yarn I used this year. I do not like this yarn. It is very itchy, very sort of stiff and weird feeling. I since found out that this yarn is actually really good for felting, so I feel like maybe I just picked the wrong yarn. I think this is just something that I kind of am learning over time. So yeah, this was a bit of a fail of a yarn choice, but I'm still so happy with how it looks. I do wish it was slightly bigger, to be honest. But yeah, there's nothing about the pattern I absolutely love. The pattern is actually a free pattern. I would definitely recommend if it's your first ever colourwork project, because it's just on the yoke, and then I actually added this design on the sleeves myself. This isn't part of the pattern. The pattern just has plain sleeves, but I wanted to add a little bit extra, something a little bit more fun onto the sleeve. I also added the contrast colour on the neckband, which is slightly different to the pattern. So this was such a fun project, and I definitely don't regret doing it. I just wish I had used a different yarn and maybe gone up one size. I think it was just a little bit too small for me. I also have quite long arms, and it's just a bit too short on the arms for me. I felt like it would grow more in blocking, because for example, my step-by-step sweater grew so much in blocking, and I think I now know that that's because it was made with alpaca, and alpaca grows a lot more in blocking than wool. And this wool in particular, I mean, it barely grew at all. So I think this was a lesson in not just assuming that everything will grow, because you see those blocking videos where things get massive after you block them. That is true in certain situations, like with cables, or if you have lots of texture, or if you're using something like alpaca, but this yarn just didn't really grow at all like I was expecting it to. So that was definitely a learning experience. It's just very pilly, and to be honest, I just don't think it looks nice. Like, the blue is fluffing up over the white, and it just looks really strange, to be honest. And I can see how this yarn is really good for felting, because it's kind of just all like sticking together, and I don't know, it's just become quite a strange material. So yeah, really unfortunate, because this is a great pattern. I would actually like to knit this again at some point in like a lot softer drapier yarn. I don't regret this one, but I don't wear this very much. Like, I honestly think I've only worn this 2 or 3 times since I finished it, which is such a shame because the pattern is great. The next thing I knit was the light loop sweater by Other Loops. This was knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the shade Unicorn Purple, which I have to say is one of my favourite colours. I love the colour of this. This is so soft. It definitely lives up to the name of Soft Silk Mohair. It feels so nice on my skin, and yeah, I do love wearing this one. To be honest, lately, I think when I first knit this, I was wearing it all the time. I think lately I've realised that I knit it a bit too cropped, and I think I've been lately wearing more lower rise jeans, or sort of mid-rise jeans. Like, these are kind of mid-rise. I used to wear everything like above my belly button, being a classic millennial, but lately I've been wearing some more mid to lower rise jeans, and that has meant that some of these things I knit that are a bit more cropped have started to just seem a bit too cropped. As you can see, my t-shirt is popping out, so that is kind of annoying me. I think maybe I should try and reblock this and just see if that helps it relax a little bit, but I do wish that I had knit this one a little bit longer, because it only took me 7 days to knit, which is crazy for a jumper, because it's knit on such big needles and it has quite an airy open texture. It means that it is so quick to knit up. I think it was on 7mm needles, so yeah, it was really nice and quick to knit up. I did an I-cord bind off on the sleeves and the hem, which I enjoyed doing. This is my first time doing an I-cord wind off, so that was a good thing to learn. Because the gauge is so open, the German short rows have kind of, I don't know if I just did them, I don't think I did them wrong, but I think when you have such an open gauge, doing German short rows will just leave a little bit of a mark. And even in the pattern photos, the designer has done the same thing. So yeah, that is just slightly, sometimes I feel like it maybe looks a bit sloppy. It doesn't look super polished and refined, which is fine, but I guess it's quite like a nice seaming top that I'd want to wear out, but then it feels a bit sort of slightly sloppily knit. I don't know if I just knit it a bit badly or if it's more just the open gauge makes it seem that way. I'm not really sure, but either way I still love this one. I just can only wear it with more higher waisted trousers. Like I can't really wear it with these jeans because it's just like a weird gap here, which annoys me. So I think it's a kind of a good one to wear over dresses and stuff, but to be honest, I don't really wear dresses. I just wear trousers and jeans all the time. So yeah, I do still love this one. It hasn't pilled at all, which is great. Like basically no pilling, which is nice. So I would definitely recommend using this yarn if you want to knit this pattern. I would definitely knit another one of these, just slightly longer, and maybe next time I would go down a size on the neckband just to kind of cinch it in a bit, because it does kind of drag down a little bit sometimes. Maybe I would go down a needle size and just knit the collar a tiny bit longer than it says on the pattern if I was going to do it again. The next thing I have are 3 tops. I cannot be bothered to put these on because I have to get the right bra situation going on and I can't be bothered. But anyway, I'll insert some footage of me wearing these tops. I think when it got to the summer, I suddenly realised that you could knit yourself summer tops, and then I just got really, really obsessed with knitting a summer tops. So I knit 3 in a row. The first one that I finished was the Soul top by Rows Knitwear. This one was knit in Tynn by Sandnes Garn, and I held it double. And I really love this one. I think because I held the Tynn double, it feels even extra drapey and soft and really, really nice. Like I think next time, whenever I knit any other summer tops, I'm gonna do this again because they have a great color range and I just love the way that it feels, and it's really cool. You never get overheated wearing it. And yeah, I love this one. I added the stripes to it. It's just really fun, and this is definitely my favourite out of all the summer tops that I've knit. It's a great pattern. It's a little bit challenging in some parts. There's definitely like picking up and then doing like the straps are done by doing a cast on extension and then do like a folded over. The whole thing is folded over double, so it's definitely a bit fiddly, and in the Tynn especially it was quite hard on my hands, but I think it was actually a really good moment. I think when I did this I was like, okay, I think I'm getting to like obviously I'm still a beginner. I'm only a year into knitting. I still consider myself a beginner, but I feel like I was getting somewhere with this top. I felt like I was progressing and sort of figuring things out, and I felt like I had reached a new level when I finished this top, so I was very happy with it. And I wore it so much in the summer, and I'm sure once it gets to the summer again I will be wearing this non-stop because I love it and I think the colour suits me, and yeah, I just love this one. The next summer top was a test knit. This is my first ever test knit. This is the Plot Twist Tank by Jaime Creates. I knit this in Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the shade Dusty Banana, and I love this one. I am very happy with this one. My only thing is it's very short on me, and because I was doing it as part of a test knit, I wanted to kind of keep to what the instructions said in terms of length, but it is very short. It's basically a bralette on me, so I can only kind of wear it with like high-waisted things or with something else over the top of it. So I think that's the only reason I probably don't wear this as much as I would like. I was also knitting this when I was on holiday in Italy, and I wanted to finish it before the end of my holiday so I could wear it on my holiday. So I was knitting it the whole holiday, and because it's knit with fingering weight yarn on 3.5mm needles, it was taking me quite a long time. So I probably could have made it a little bit longer, but because I was on holiday, I wanted to just finish it, so I just bound it off. It would be quite a lot of effort to unravel it and make it longer, so I'm probably just gonna leave it as it is. I do wear it sometimes. I definitely wear it when it's really, really hot in the summer with a denim. I wear it with like a denim shirt over the top and high-waisted linen shorts. It looks really nice in that kind of outfit. So I do wear it, I just don't wear it as much as I would like. The yarn is really, really nice and soft. I think this is a great yarn. The only thing is when it's boiling, like when it's 40 degrees, it can get a little, because it is still merino, it is still quite a bit of wool in there. It does get a little bit warm sometimes if you're like in super, super sweaty weather. This was the first time knitting cables on a garment, so I was so pleased with how that went, and yeah, this really like spurred me on to have the confidence to try a cable jumper, which I'll get to. And then my final summer top was the June top by Petite Knit, and I knit this in Lean by Sandnes garn. So this is the slightly thicker version of the Tynn Lean that I'd held double in my other top. And it is quite interesting feeling the difference between the two. They're obviously still both very, very soft, but I can definitely feel that holding the Tynn Lean double is quite a bit softer and drapier than the Lean held single. So that's just an interesting thing that I discovered. I think if I would knit with this kind of yarn again, I would definitely hold the Tynn Lean double, even though it's annoying to have an extra ball. The end result is a lot softer and drapier, so I think that's quite nice. I knit this in a kind of butter yellow colour. I feel like everyone from this year must have their classic butter yellow knit that they knit and probably then don't wear that much because they realise butter yellow maybe doesn't suit them as much as everyone seemed to be saying how good it was. Anyway, I think the reason why I got annoyed with this top is it has an applied I-cord that goes all the way around the sleeves, all the way around the back, all the way back up the other sleeve, and then all the way down. And then you have to also do the applied I-cord around the circular bit of the sleeve. So there's just so much applied I-cord on quite small needles. And by the end of it, my hand was hurting so much. If you struggle with your hands hurting from knitting, I would not recommend this pattern. In other ways, it's a great pattern. Like, it is just a simple, nice vest top, but it is just not that fun to knit because of, like, it's fine, it's bottom up, and it's fine up until you get to the applied I-cord, and then it just becomes a mission, and the sleeves are just a bit annoying. And yeah, I just didn't really find it that fun to knit this one. So to be honest, I haven't worn it that much. I wore it a few times once I finished it, and then I just stopped wearing it. So it also became autumn at that point, so it was getting a bit too cold to be wearing a vest top anyway. So this was probably a bit of a fail, to be honest. It is still cute, and I probably will get it out again next spring, summer. But yeah, I haven't really worn it that much, unfortunately. And yeah, the only other thing that has stopped me wearing my summer tops as much is I'm too scared to put them in the washing machine, even though I think technically they can go in the washing machine. I'm too scared to put them in there, which means I have to hand wash them, which means I have them in my washing basket for too long and then I don't actually wash them because I'm lazy and I hate hand washing things. I like blocking because that's like the excitement of the thing you've just finished, but when it comes to re-washing, hand washing, I just find it very boring and annoying, and I know I should just suck it up and do it. Maybe I just need to put it in the washing machine in a garment bag or something, because if I'm not wearing them, then there's no point having them. So yeah, I think I'm going to get a garment bag because I don't actually have one, and maybe I'll sacrifice my June top as an experiment, see how it goes, and if it survives, I'll put the other two in, because I get sweaty when I'm wearing these because it's the summer, and then they get gross, and then I don't wear them because I know I need to hand wash them, and it's just a whole thing. So I think I'm gonna be brave and put them in the washing machine, and hopefully that will solve that issue. I also would like to knit a summer t-shirt. I feel like t-shirt is maybe the way to go forward because I actually don't wear vest tops much in my day-to-day life outside of what I have knit, so then why am I knitting loads of vest tops? I don't know. But I think t-shirts will be my way forward for my next year of summer knitting. And then I got very quickly away from summer tops and went the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I knit my biggest jumper. This is the Waffle Loop Sweater Dress, even though it didn't end up being a dress, by Other Loops. I knit this in Merilin and Alpaca 3, both by Isager, held together, which is an amazing combination. I love this yarn. It is so soft, so nice, and honestly just feels absolutely amazing. I had a lot of issues with this sweater. This was my first ever cable project, and for that reason I'm just obsessed with it. It's very, very beautiful. I love the cables, I love the waffle, I love all of it. I just had a few issues with the sizing. As you can see, it is huge. It has quite a lot of bulk here, and I knit the smallest size for this pattern, and I used the recommended yarn, and it's supposed to be such a huge sort of sweater dress, but it's just too big for me, and I'm usually a size medium. I do still wear this a lot. I wear it a lot around the house. Obviously, I'm so proud of myself for having knit this, and it has worn really well. There's been hardly any pilling, but I would say it's just quite big. So I don't wear it when I want to look sort of smart and dressed up, because it is so slouchy, which kind of means that I only really wear it when I'm kind of slouching around the house. I have a lot of baggy jeans, and I can only really wear it with my slightly more, not skinny jeans, but my slightly more like slim or straight jeans, because otherwise I just feel like I'm drowning in material. I do wear this a lot, I do love it, but I wouldn't say it's my most worn out of all of my sweaters. It's not like I'm wearing it every single day or every single week, because of just the size of it. It's just huge. And it was originally way longer, and then I unraveled it because I realized it was too long. Now the length is good, and I love the length of the arms and everything. It's just got so much material that it does kind of bunch a bit around here, which is annoying and a shame. I'm still very happy and proud of this one. I just wish it was a tiny bit smaller. I have gift knit a few things for people this year. This is the Musselburgh hat that I knit for my husband, and he loves it. He wears it all the time. I knit this in, I think it was Alpaca 2. It could have been Alpaca 1, I'm not sure. I'll find out and put it on the screen. This is the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague. It is a great pattern, would definitely recommend, and I was really pleased with how this turned out. I feel like it looks really professional, and the way that it's designed is with you fold it into itself, so there are no sort of obvious seam lines, and so it's all just like the stockinette. So it just ends up making it look really nice and professional, and yeah, I love this one. It makes me happy seeing my husband wearing it. I don't really gift knit that much, but I feel like my husband is quite a knit-worthy person, because he loves it and he wears it all the time, so that makes me happy. And I would like to knit one for myself at some point, because you can use any weight of yarn for this pattern, which is what makes the pattern so popular. You can literally just use any yarn that you want, so that is amazing. And yeah, I would say this was definitely a win. Then the next thing I knit was my rosy sweater by Granit. I knit this in Tynn Pigment held with Tynn Silk Mohair, both by Sandnes Garn, and I love this jumper. This is probably the thing I'm most proud of knitting this year. It's quite an interesting design and construction. It has a drop shoulder but also raglan increases. One thing I would say is I actually knit the sleeves longer than the pattern says, but I feel like the sleeves are still a tiny bit too short. They're not that bad, and it's not that obvious, but for me, because I wear my Apple Watch that I like to cover up, and you can always see my Apple Watch when I'm wearing this jumper, which is, for me, is a sign that it is slightly too short. But apart from that, I'm very, very happy with the length and the collar, and the collar hasn't stretched out really much at all. And yeah, I would highly recommend this pattern. It's been very, very popular on the internet this year. I wear it quite a bit. I would say it is a bit itchy. The Tynn Silk Mohair is not the softest mohair. I do wish that I had used probably knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair, which is my favourite mohair that I have used this year, or maybe just done without mohair potentially, because also the mohair makes this very warm. I would love to be able to wear this out to restaurants and stuff, because I feel like it is quite a fancy jumper. It's quite elevated and sophisticated, but every time I've tried to wear it to a restaurant, I just overheat and have to take it off, which is annoying because I want to wear it, but the mohair just makes it so warm. But on the other hand, that's good for when it's really, really cold outside. I feel like just the warmth of it is the only thing that is stopping me from wearing it so much when I'm going out to nice places, which I feel like is when I'd want to be wearing it. But then I still just wear it like day to day, especially when it's just really cold outside, which it is at the moment. So yeah, I love this one, and I don't think it is pilled at all. I think the mohair has kept it from pilling, and it looks as good as new. And then the only other tiny thing that probably only I would notice is I think I knit this sleeve with a larger cable than I knit this sleeve. And I think that has meant that the colour work on this sleeve has just slightly shrunk in and is slightly pulling. So that is just a very slight line where the colour work stops, and it does slightly annoy me, but I think I'm just being a perfectionist when it comes to that. But it does prove a theory that I had, which was when you're knitting colour work on a sleeve, to knit with the biggest cable you can for the situation, because then it kind of naturally just stretches out the stitches as you're knitting, and you don't have to worry so much about making sure you have enough slack in your floats. And this is kind of just like an interesting experiment of that. I was definitely using a smaller cable for this sleeve because it is more comfortable to use a smaller cable, because you're not having to sort of stretch the stitches and like pull it around as much. But in the end, I think for colour work, it's definitely worth having that slightly bigger cable, because it just naturally means that you don't have any pulling or tightness on the colour work. I've definitely been wearing this a lot. I just wish it wasn't quite so warm and maybe just slightly less itchy, and then I would definitely be wearing it like every day. So before we talk about my final garment that I finished this year, I want to talk about a couple of gift knits. I thought I wasn't going to do any gift knits, but then I just got sucked into the sailor slipper hype at the last minute, and I have knit a pair of sailor slippers for my dad. This video is going to be going up after Christmas, so he would have already received them by the time I'm posting this, but I thought this would be cute to share because this is scrap yarn left over from quite a few of the projects that I've just shared. So this has Gilliatt on the sole, it has my Drops Nepal is the brown stripe, it has the Happy Sheep wool from my Haze sweater as the white stripe, and then it just has a random ball of Sandnes Garn Atlas that I had as well in it. So I feel like this is kind of quite a nice project to end the year on, because it's kind of, these slippers are kind of a summary of quite a lot of the projects that I have knit and I had leftovers for, and my theory was correct about the Happy Sheep wool being good for felting, because these felted really well, and I would say I probably shouldn't have made a sweater out of it and should have just felted something instead. I was a bit worried because it's so many different types of yarn, especially like the alpaca and the merino are all quite different types of yarn, but they felted quite well on the top. I would say the Gilliatt didn't felt that well on the sole, which is a bit annoying because I think because it's quite rustic, I feel like it probably holds up quite well to not being felted. So yeah, I'm quite happy with these. I put some of that sock stuff on the bottom, to be honest. I don't know if this sock stuff was a good idea. I tried to write my dad's name and it just looks kind of ugly, but apart from that, I'm very happy with these slippers, and I definitely want to make some for myself. I think they're such a fun pattern, and yeah, really quick to knit up. I think I knitted each one in a day, and then I sort of seamed them and did the I-cord on the next day. So I think in total these kind of took about 4 days. They're a really quick project. And then some of you might recognize this yarn. I have knit the Fat Fur Hat by Spectacle Strick for my sister. This is a very bright pink. As I'm filming this, I haven't given this to her yet, so hopefully she doesn't find it too bright. I mean, it is quite mad, but I love it. It's so fun, and I just really enjoy this hat. This hat is actually a very similar construction to the Musselburgh, so if you already have the Musselburgh hat pattern, I would say just just knit the Musselburgh. The only difference is that instead of starting with a pinhole cast on and then increasing, you just start knitting in the round and then you pick up and then decrease afterwards. So that's the only difference, but in terms of construction, this is very similar. And because it's a bulky yarn, it's knit in 6mm needles with bulky yarn, it is very, very thick because it's double thickness and then you fold it over and it's quadruple thickness. So the name Fat Fur Hat is definitely true. This is the chunkiest hat I've ever seen. I was planning on knitting a scarf with this yarn, but I have so much left over that I definitely can still also knit a scarf. But yeah, this was quite a fun, quick knit. This was definitely something that you can do pretty quickly, I think. If you have like the need for a last minute gift, this would be a good one if you have some spare chunky mohair lying around. But yeah, quite a fun little last minute project. And then finally we have my port jacket that I'm currently wearing. This is knit in Isager Aran tweed in the shade Confetti, and I love this yarn. It feels quite similar to the Gilliatt, maybe a touch less soft. I love the colours in this yarn. This is my first ever cardigan, first time doing a button band and picking up and all of that sort of stuff and learning how to do buttonholes. I attach the buttons with a shank so that they're kind of pushing out away from the button band, but I still feel like it's slightly, I think I'm just being a perfectionist, but I keep looking at how straight or not straight the button band is, and when it starts to like go like this, I'm like getting annoyed, but I don't think it's that noticeable and it's probably just me being a perfectionist. But apart from that, I'm very happy with this. My row gauge was slightly off, which meant that I had to keep measuring it because it was getting a lot longer, a lot quicker than it should have been, which was kind of nice because it meant that it just went by a lot faster. This meant though that I was actually doing fewer decreases than I should have had it on the sleeves, so they are quite baggy, which I don't mind because it's a jacket slash cardigan. I kind of like that the sleeves are quite long and baggy so that I can wear things underneath it and you won't be able to see it poking through, so that doesn't bother me too much. And I love the buttons. I got these buttons from when I went to Sydney in September, so I feel like this jacket really kind of encapsulates my year that I've had. And yeah, I'm so happy that I have finished this one before the end of the year. That is basically everything that I have knit this year. That was a lot of trying on. I'm very sweaty now. If you've stayed till this long into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all being here. There's such a lovely community of knitters here on YouTube. Everyone is so kind and sweet and helpful and will give honest feedback and useful information, and I really appreciate that because I am still a new knitter. I've been doing a lot of fun projects, but I have so much still to learn. I feel like knitting is going to just become like a lifelong learning process. There's just always something new to try, and I'm so excited for next year to see what I get up to. I already have quite a lot of plans in the pipeline. I have posted a video of some of my upcoming knitting plans for the rest of winter. Winnie wanted to come and say hello. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm so excited for what the next year of knitting will bring. And if you're watching this over the holidays, have a lovely relaxing time off. Me and Winnie are off to go have some festive fun, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.